This video will cover the APART worksheet, which is a tool to help you create behavior modifications or new behaviors that help you achieve the life that you really want or what a fulfilling existence means to you. So this first part, the A part, is the assessment, and I'll go over that in more depth later. The planning piece, for the P, is two parts. You have a goal part, and it's a very specific or smart goal, and you connect that goal to something that has meaning to you. What it actually will add to your life. This helps you stay on the course. The second part to the planning piece are the barriers and your strategies for barriers. So barriers are things that limit, and these can be stories that you tell yourself or beliefs. They can be actual things like I don't have something, that and a piece of equipment. Whatever that barrier is, you simply list them out, and then you'll address each one. And then you'll take the planning piece for the A piece, which is the action. And so you'll go through and you basically create a checklist that goes through how to progressively create this new behavior that creates that goal. And this should be simple and slow. If you feel like, well, I could do this in 1 month instead of 6 weeks, that's good. It should be something that is not a huge barrier to your adoption of a new habit. Keep in mind that this is a tool for you, and I have it as 6 weeks, but think of it as 6 steps. You should only move on to the next step once you're stable with that previous step. Now, triggers and anchors are just an interesting and an exciting way to really help you build these new behaviors into your life. An anchor is an existing habit or action you already do in your everyday life that you're anchoring this new habit to. A trigger is simply something that helps remind you, stay motivated, stay inspired, to stay in the game. And then finally, for the R piece, you have remind. So accountability partner in a schedule is going to be really important for keeping you on track. And then the T is the triumph. So once you've completed this sheet, you've achieved something. And while a lot of times we'll think of, well, if I either get the goal or I don't, if you didn't fully achieve this goal, so maybe you accomplished it 90% of the time, still think of that as an improvement and a win. All right, so that way, perhaps the next time you go through the sheet, instead of being in a failure state, you're feeling more confident in yourself. So this whole process should really be about an 8-week process. Now, you'll have 6 weeks of doing the behavior change and creating that new result. You'll take 2 weeks to maintain that, but not doing another change. And then during those 2 weeks, you can also plan your next cycle. And so you basically are going to find one thing, and you're going to just work on that one thing and move on to the next thing when you're ready. So here's an example. So we'll talk about sleep, which is revitalize. That's an important piece. And so the assessment, you're going to have a scale from 0 to 10. Each line is representative of one of the 6 areas. The closer you are to 10, the stronger you are in that area. And the closer you are to the center, or 0, the weaker. So the areas are purpose. This is your life mission. It could be a career. It's something that aligns with your direction in life. Mindset, and we're looking at stress management, mindfulness, positive psychology, positive mindset. Those are really important pieces. Movement, I'm not just looking at exercise, because you can exercise almost every day but sit around the rest of the day. Movement is actually doing and playing something, where it could be a sport, it could be playing with family, whatever that is, but not just simply exercising, but reducing sedentary behavior. You have nutrition, which is pretty self-explanatory. Vitalize, like I said, is sleep, and then your relationships. And your relationships are not just with your significant other or your family and friends, they're also with coworkers, strangers, and with yourself. So you basically put a dot at each area, and then you connect the dots, and then you have this visual representation of your weak areas. And so it's really easy for us to want to do, I'm going to do movement and nutrition and all these different things. But I'm going to look at this weak area, which is revitalize your sleep practices. Now, this is really important because you can kind of see how your mindset is poor, well, this will affect your mindset. So instead of trying to do all these things to make everything get wider, you achieve a little bit better in this one area, and that'll help actually expand these other areas. So that's the kind of the cool piece, and it's less overwhelming that way. So here's an example of a goal. By the end of 6 weeks, where you would actually just put the date there, you're going to improve your sleep quality. You're using a tracking device, and add 30 minutes average sleep time to 5 to 7 nights a week. So that's really specific, measurable, actionable, relevant, and it has a very specific time to it. So why? Well, maybe you're having problems at work, working through new solutions, and or you're constantly bogged down. You have kind of mind fog, and so this is a way that you can connect to that. And here are some different barriers that are the general things that are talking about sleep hygiene and things that I generally see in preventing good sleep. And here are some examples of how to overcome those. This is much of the stuff you'll find in my sleep resources. And then you've got an example here of a 6-week progression. So it's really simple. The first week is we're looking at planning and tracking. So we're getting a good state and understanding where we are so that when we finish, we can actually compare it to our previous and see if we achieve that goal. So you can go through that different stuff. Things that might be confusing: early sun exposure, just getting up, getting light early in the day. And then we'll go into the triggers and anchors. So you might have an app that might trigger you when you wake up. You have a reminder, and that triggers you to put in your data. An anchor example would be that when you wake up, you go to the bathroom. That's pretty much the first thing everyone does. So if you put a journal or a reminder in the bathroom, you're building it into and anchoring it to an existing habit. It makes it a lot easier. You can do reminders to yourself through an email. You can do a visual reminder. This could be like a picture that has meaning. It could be a post-it that reminds you of something. It could be built into your house cleaning. Whatever that is, it could be a calendar. So once you have that set up, then you're going to set up your accountability partner and schedules. And so maybe you have a weekly team meeting, so you're going to meet with Bob after, and he's just going to check in. You're just going to talk about what your status is. Maybe if you're struggling, maybe he has some advice. Maybe it's just encouragement. And then maybe you work out with Sue on Fridays. And so this gives you an opportunity afterwards, and you have healthy behavior, and that maybe she's doing it as well with you. So you could have a partner, as I have here, that's doing an activity with you. That makes it really easy. So again, this is an example of how you would improve your sleep. Don't feel like it has to be perfect. If you're getting paralysis by analysis, just take a couple breaths and just move forward, because you can always do this next time. And you may find that at the end of this you achieve this goal, but you're still maybe, instead of being a 1-ish, you're maybe like a 2, and you still want to improve it more. You can stick with that, or maybe it's at a high enough level and you want to work on something else. That's totally up to you. So if you have any questions on this process, please feel free to reach out, and I'll help you in any way I can.